Hello peoples! In today's video we are in the Saber and we're taking a look at what are some of the best weapons you can use in 3.14 for this ship. We're specifically looking at the guns. We'll take a look at a couple different missile types that you can use as well. We are not covering stealth gameplay in any great detail. This is just a weapons loadout and what should work for this ship. The Urkel link for each of these builds is in the video description below. If you like what you see in the video, then give it a try in-game. Come back here, leave a comment. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, or what you changed, or what you prefer for a build. That way people can learn from your experience, not just mine. If you like and enjoy this content, then please hit that like button, the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel, as it will be greatly appreciated. So now we're at the point that I know you've been waiting for, where I tell you to get a tasty beverage. I'm thinking an ice-cold beer, yes, and a snack. Beer nuts goes well. So sit back, relax, and let's see how we do. Now the first build is pretty much the default setting with only minor changes. We've upgraded the stealth grade C components up to grade A according to Urkel. We've left the Panther laser repeaters on, and we've swapped out the 2 Arrestor 3 missiles for 2 more Thunderbolt 3 missiles, simply because I prefer to have all the same missile type. Sometimes it works out good, sometimes it doesn't. Now what I'm about to say may draw a little bit of criticism in the comments section, we'll see. The Saber is not a dogfighter. It never has been a dogfighter. At one point in time it was good as a dogfighter, but it should never be in that role. It is a stealth fighter. Its greatest asset is stealth. You want to approach your target using stealth, get as close as possible before being detected, fire off a volley of missiles, hopefully cripple or outright destroy your target with those missiles, and only close in and use your guns when needed. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We've closed in based off of our IR, EM, and cross-section signatures to a point where I feel comfortable enough to fire off my first set of missiles. Now my decision to use larger, heavier hitting missiles has kind of backfired. 3.14 50-50 on whether or not you're going to hit. So I fired off my last set of missiles to hopefully score a hit on this Vanguard, which I do, and I take the shields down to a critical level. Now I'm forced to finish it off with guns. And if you remember, I said the Saber is not a good dog fighter. That doesn't mean that it doesn't have a whole lot of punch with 4 size 3 laser repeater. As you can see, these 4 laser repeaters have done an excellent job at stripping down the shields and doing a little bit of damage to the Vanguard. We're just basically going to wait to get a really good firing solution on it, which comes up right about here. I'm going to slow it down a little bit because, you know, we got to do the money shot. I'm going to fire off short bursts so that we have plenty of capacitor left and the Vanguard goes boom. I always like to see that boom. So now what we're going to do is move on to the next target. It's going to be my counterpart, which is another Saber. This is where you're going to see how fragile the Saber really is. As you notice, we just fired off a volley and we've already stripped and done major damage to the Saber. At this point, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that it's only going to take another burst. We follow up with another shot right here, and that pretty much seals that Saber's fate. So now that just leaves the last target, which is a Hornet. Now if you remember in my last video, a Hornet has a frightening amount of firepower for its size. Do not underestimate it. It's not the most maneuverable, it's not the best dogfighter, but it will definitely make you pay for any mistake that you have. As you can see here, a glancing blow and he took my shields down to a critical level. So what I'm going to do is try to use my maneuverability as much as possible to keep that Hornet from landing any more shots, because if he gets a good solid hit on me, he's going to blow something off. I happen to luck out. I have a really good firing solution on him coming up. I'm on lag pip, and I hit him with a good burst from all 4 size 3 repeaters, which is enough to do some serious damage and cause something to go boom. Now, it is a Hornet, so that was the first explosion. Where would we be if we didn't have a follow-up explosion? So it looks like this is the cockpit or something, but there he goes. Don't know what that was, maybe a fuel tank, but there's no lying, the explosions are spectacular. So not a bad start. That's the default build. We're going to move on and see if we can do better. So for the second build, what we're going to do is simply swap out all of our laser repeaters for the FL33 laser cannon and see how we do. We're also going to change the missiles to 2 size 4 Raptors. Just like before, keep note of your IR, EM, and cross-section signatures so you don't get too close. We fire off one of our Raptor 4 missiles at the Hurricane. Now, Hurricane's pretty much going to be one of the toughest opponents that you face in Star Citizen when doing these VHRT missions. And just like before, we've missed. So we're going to have to follow up with a second one. Hopefully this one hits. We'll have to wait and see. And of course it doesn't. So once again, we are forced to use our guns. Now, in this particular case, we're using FL33s. We all know that they hit really hard. I'm going to try and take out this Hurricane as quickly as possible. I've done a pretty good job already. As you can see, the shields are stripped. We've done a little bit of damage, and that's just simply because of the hard-hitting firepower of 4 of these cannons. I've got some missiles that I have to deal with. No big deal there. I'm going to continue and press my attack, and I've already got some red showing on the Hurricane, which is good news for me, because the shorter this fight is, the better it is for me. The more chance I'm going to have of a positive outcome. Now, one of the strengths of this particular build is it's an all-energy build. So you can take some of those more risky shots, not worry about your ammo expenditure or anything like that. And of course, they're cannons, so they hit really hard. As you can see, a lot of damage taken on the Hurricane. We get lucky. He gives me a nice dorsal shot. This allows me to really sink some good rounds into him. He's actually going to explode here as he passes by, as you can see there. And now we move on to the next target, which is going to be a Valkyrie. Now, normally I like to pick a target and stay on it, but you got to remember, combat should be fluid. I see here that there is a Warden, so I'm going to switch my target because the Warden is a higher priority. It has missiles, it's got some big guns on it, it can do a lot of damage. I find myself in a very favorable advantage position-wise on the Warden. The Warden obliges me by showing me its tender little underbelly there. I'm in lag pip, so I'm able to make sure that all 4 of my size 3 cannons are going to hit, and it doesn't take long before the Warden melts and goes boom. Not bad. That just leaves the Valkyrie left. We're going to target it. We're going to take our time. We don't want to make any mistakes here. We're going to go after the Valkyrie nice and easy, go into a nice gentle spin, kind of orbit them. Make sure that we can whittle the shields down. It won't take many hits from the cannon. And then we're going to go to work and slowly chip away until the Valkyrie also goes boom. So this build definitely works. It's going to work against larger, less maneuverable ships than the Saber. You are going to have a problem trying to dogfight a light fighter with this build. I would recommend that you try to evade if you find yourself in that situation. So now we come to the third and final build. I actually like this build a lot. This is my favorite build out of the 3 that I'm showing you. We've replaced the weapons with a combination, it's a mixed load, laser repeaters and ballistic repeaters. So think Attrition 3s and Shredders. We've also bumped up our missile count. We're going to go with size 2, Dominator 2 missiles, 4 on each rack for a total of 8 because I'm tired of seeing 50% of my missile load just go out the window with no hits. We're still using our stealth tactics. We're going to start off with a missile launch, try to soften up the target or cripple the target as much as possible. Hopefully by changing over and using more missiles, we'll get more hits. And wow, surprisingly, all 3 hit. That's great. Let's follow it up with 3 more. See if we get lucky. Can we play the odds? Wow, they all 3 hit. I think we have a winner here, guys. Okay, so the shields have been stripped. Target took a little bit of damage. We're going to close in. We're going to use our laser energy weapons to strip the shields. Once they're stripped, we're going to add in our ballistic weapons to do maximum damage. Of course, we have to dodge the missiles a little bit. I do find that it's a little bit easier to dodge missiles in a stealth ship than it is a non-stealth ship. Let me know if you agree with that, if you've noticed anything different for you guys that are using stealth ships, like the Saber. Now notice it doesn't take a whole lot of time before the attritions have stripped the shields on the Vanguard. Right now he's shieldless, we're doing hull damage. He presents us with a pretty good silhouette. We have our lag pip going, so we know we're going to hit when that pip is on the target. We just wait for the right opportunity. We add in our ballistic cannons. We get some pretty good hits. Vanguard does a little bit of a hiccup there so that I miss, but it's not enough, and he goes boom. Pretty short time to kill there. Very effective. So now we're going to go after the ads. We have a Valkyrie, another bullet sponge again. So it'll be good to see how long it takes to take this Valkyrie out. Now, out of the 3 builds that I've shown you here, I really do like this build the best. Having 2 energy weapons in the same group means more rounds and more time that weapons group can fire. So we have 56 rounds before the energy pool gets depleted on the attritions. We can fire off the ballistic repeaters anytime we want, so we can use it as a filler when we run out of energy. Or in this case, when the target obliges us by showing us a really good shot, like here with the dorsal section of the Valkyrie, we can add all of our weapons at the same time and pretty much melt the ship fairly quickly. So the Valkyrie has been deleted fairly fast, I might add. The other part that I like about having the laser repeaters as we deal with the final target, yet another Valkyrie, is that you have a better chance, should you run across any light fighters, at taking them out. The higher muzzle velocity for the projectiles is definitely a plus when dealing with faster, more maneuverable ships, and will help with ships like the Gladius or Arrow, for example. So now what we're going to do is continue to whittle down our Valkyrie here. It's going to oblige us by giving us a very nice dorsal shot. We're going to start off with our attritions, make sure that the shields are removed. We can see that we're doing hull damage, so we add in the shredders and punch all these great holes into it. Doesn't take long. The Valkyrie, definitely a bullet sponge, can absorb a lot of damage for its size, but we're doing a lot of damage. So as you can see here, the Valkyrie doesn't last long and we delete it. And we did it with just 1 round left in each of these shredders, which is still no problem because the mission is complete. So not bad. So there you go. I definitely think this is my favorite build. Let me know your thoughts on these different weapons in the comments section, and don't forget to check out the builds using the Oracle link. Also, as I stated in my last video, I want to know what types of videos you want to see in the future. Do you want more comparison videos, instructional videos, and on what types of ships? Let me know. If you're new to Star Citizen, you will find a referral code in the video description. You'll get 5,000 free UEC when you open up an account. Go ahead. Use that code. You get something, I get something, so it's a win-win for us both. As always, till next time, take care.